Hi, Merkei here, and welcome to the next episode of the series called I Can't Believe They Didn't Add It to Blueprints Yet. And in this video, we're gonna take a look at carets. If you don't know what a caret is, let's say you have a notepad or whatever text box we are using, and of course we're gonna use it in Unreal, just gonna show you in notepad because, easier. So if you write like, it's me, Mario, and you see that little blinking vertical line, it's a caret. And in other words, you could say it's a cursor because it has like two names, but like whatever. And why would you need a caret position? Well, good question. First of all, I need this for my IDE. So if you don't know, I made a custom language. It's called slang. And in my game, you will be able to write that language to make some applications and stuff, right? And I wanted to make an IDE. And in that IDE, I want you to be able to write text reasonably comfortably, right? So when you do this, then I want tab to add like 4 spaces, or in this case, it's actually kind of jumping a little bit more, but in my program, I want it to add 4 spaces, but I want it to add 4 spaces at the caret position. And of course, when I checked Unreal, there is no function to do it. And this is the video about it. How did I do it, and how actually UMG works? So what you want to know is that when you have a widget, like in Unreal, this is using UMG. But under the hood, that widget, that UMG widget, is using slate. And slate is not something you can program in the Unreal. You have to use like Visual Studio and get into the deeper parts of the engine, get the thing you want and actually do it in slate, right? And when we spawn that widget, for example, we have an iBox, which is a multi-line editable text box. This text box, when it's spawned, it's kind of reconstructing while using slate. So it's spawning a slate instance and it's using kind of what it needs from that slate and exposing whatever functionality the programmer decided that it's necessary for you. I don't know how I became Irish in 2 seconds for some reason. The programmer decided that you need those functions, and those functions are exposed, right? So not everything is exposed, including carets for some reason. And how do we actually get the caret position then? Well, you need to go tools, new C++ class, and make a new C++ class. I think that will be also possible from a library. So if you have a blueprint library, something, and you write those functions in C++, you could probably do it there. But for my purposes, it's actually nicer to make a subclass of that widget. So let's go to all classes and let's find that multi-line editable text box. It's not gonna be editor utility. We want this. So you click next, pick public, pick a name, whatever you want. And I'm just gonna call it better multi-line editable or text box, whatever. And just create class. It's binding. We need to wait for it to kind of do what it needs to do. I still have that slang interpreter, which we don't actually need. so I might just as well delete it, but that's gonna be later. And now we have that compiling changes for live coding. I mean, it's gonna happen always when you add a class from Unreal. So we see that our project has been modified. So we just load. Yes, live coding is successful, lovely. And just load everything. Yes, we want to stop debugging because we're kind of running the engine from the Visual Studio. So we need to stop it. And okay, so we are in Visual Studio, we reloaded everything, and this is our class. And these are our two files that the engine created, and let's actually write the class. So how do we start? Well, first of all, we need to get the include file actually, because if we don't include it, then it's going to not be recognized by the engine. And what is the file we are talking about? Well, we are using U multiline editable text box, and it's using under the hood S multiline editable text box, which is a slate kind of thing that this widget is constructing under the hood. So where is it? Well, it's here. So just like paste this. It's here. If you want to find it yourself, then you can just go to Epic Documents and find this. And you can also find other things you need. And it's here, right? So include, just copy this, paste wherever you need, and you have nice include. And you of course have the full documentation of the functions and members and whatever that you need. So now that we have this, let's make a function. This function will be called bool, which is I mean, this is a return value. We want to return bool because maybe we want to validate if everything is good. And bool get caret position. This position it will not take, but it will return. It's kind of the semantics of Unreal Engine. If you do this, then it's kind of a return in blueprints. So we are returning light, and we are returning an offset. And now let's actually write this function. But first, before we write this function, we need to include the U function. So we need this U function macro, so the engine knows that we are defining a function, like the Unreal function, and we can use it in blueprints and stuff. So in U function, we want to do a meta specifier, which is blueprint pure, which means that it doesn't have the exec ping. Then we do meta, and you don't really need this, but I'm gonna add it anyway. Display name equals get caret position. I don't know if I should use this, maybe, probably. And get caret position. Let's kind of duplicate this. And keywords. You don't need this because I mean, engine will find it anyway, but it will be easier for him yeah, for it to find it if you add it. And now the engine knows, so we can carry on. Let's get the slate widget. How do you actually get a slate widget from UWidget? Well, you do take widget, and this little function will return a reference to a slate widget, and you can actually do something with it. And this will work for any widget. So it doesn't have to be a multi-line box. It can be just editable text box. It can be, I don't know, a throbber, whatever. It all uses kind of the slate under the hood. And UMG is just a representation that for you, so you can easily make it. So take widget returns slate widget, but that slate widget is not exactly what we want, because we want as multi-line editable text box. And yeah, we need to cast it. How do you cast a reference? Well, you do static cast shared reference. And in those little brackets, it's probably not called brackets, but I'll call them brackets anyway. We type as multi-line editable text box. And we need to save it to somewhere. So we'll just do SW, which is auto, and this. And this, of course, needs parentheses, because casting needs parentheses. What happened here? As multi-line, yeah, this is good now. Okay, so now that we saved the slate widget, we need to save the structure, because if you don't know, if you or we or whoever goes into that as multi-line editable text box, we can see that there are multiple functions and stuff that we can use, but one function we want to use is get cursor location. And that cursor location returns fText location, which is a struct. But that struct is not exposed to blueprints. So we need to kind of get only the info that we need from that struct and kind of expose it to blueprints. And that function, surprisingly, is actually public in multi-line. So we can just straightly, is that a word? Simply get it and use it. But in the editable text box, so not multi-line, it's protected from what I've seen. So you might have like more issues there, but in multi-line, editable text box is not entirely hard. So yeah, we just want to use this, but we need to kind of make reference to that structure. Well, maybe not reference, we will just make a structure. So auto CL, which is cursor location, and let's do SW pointer and get cursor location. This is of course a function, and it returns that fText location. So now from that text location, we want to set the variables we just passed in the function parameters. Well, we defined those in parameters. We can pass arguments. Okay. Don't yell at me. And line will be equal to CL dot get line index, and offset will be equal to CL dot. As you can see, we have three possible kind of functions we can do. So the second one is get offset, and we can return CL that is valid. Return, of course, not equals, just return this. And this will return, well, true if this is valid, which is most of the time, and false in the very rare cases where it doesn't work. And yeah, this function will work for you. But since we are in Visual Studio, we can use more functions that are not exposed to blueprints, but are quite fun to use. So let's make another function, and this function will be called GoTo, because if you get caret position, you can also get to that point in text. And this is exactly what that function will do. So let's make a new function. This function will be called GoTo. I'm not gonna show how it works in that video. I'm just gonna show you how to make it, and you can play with it yourself. And we'll take line, we'll take offset, and here we just, well, basically do the kind of the same thing. And now we'll make our own text location. So f text location. We'll take line and offset, and then SW pointer GoTo. And just, you know, include TL as an argument. And now you have two brand new cool functions that you can use in your projects. First one to get the Caret position, and the second one to well, go to the position of position in the text. In case like you want like to move the Caret to the specified position, then you can use that function. Okay. Now that should work, but we of course have to build it first. So let's save everything. Just click F5. And if you have your project configured well, then that should start building the project. So it will take a moment. I'm gonna... The fuck do you want? Let's check. What did we miss? Interesting. So let's do some kind of debugging now, because what might be the issue? Well, something is not defined, something is not recognized. I guess it's good to include times where it doesn't work in your videos, because now we can solve it. And if you had this issue in your program, then you might be thinking like, oh shit, it worked in the video, but it doesn't work for me. What do I do? Well, let's figure this out. Usually when something is not defined and you included everything, that means that something might be missing in the build target. So let's go to build CS. And yeah, this is our issue, because we have public dependency module names and it's lacking slate and UMG. So let's just add slate. Let's add slate core. I think it's called like that. And then let's add UMG. And when you add those three things, then it should probably build. Let's see if it works. Yeah, it does work. So if you have this problem and maybe in other projects you have this problem, then just make sure you add everything to build CS. So let's open our console and see how it works. So this is my little kind of console for my language, and let's do a little debug. So whenever we write something in that iBox, we want to get the position. So print, whenever we do this, then we get this iBox. We get Caret. Why is it? Oh, this, of course, we need to add it. So better, because that's how we called it. Better multi-line, then we need to plug it in. Of course, mark it as a variable. Call it better text box, and just replace wherever you used, you know, the standard text box with the better text box. Will you get? No, this is a different function. Get text Let's just do it real quick and set text. Lovely. And now this better text box has get Caret position. Lovely. We have line, we have offset, we have return value, so you can just do this. Branch, is it valid? But I'm gonna skip it because it's usually going to be valid, so not really that need to check. And maybe let's do a print text, because text is kind of, you can do format, and format is nicer than appending. So I'll just do this, and let's type line, which will take line, and offset, which will take offset. Let's plug those two things, and let's check how it works. Of course, I have my tree written here, so you'll see how the tree works. I actually didn't show it in the previous video. I showed it in the thumbnail, but not in the actual video. So this is my slang script, and it's supposed to make a tree. So let's see if that works. Yeah, lovely. It displayed a tree. So now when we write, let's say hello, nothing prints. Why does nothing prints? Because I think I disabled, yeah. So let's re-enable screen messages. And let's try it again. Hello. This is me. Okay. This is sort of working, but it's not entirely working. And why would it not work entirely? Good question. Do I have something overridden? No, I do not. So why? Let's maybe I'm writing in the iBox. Yeah, that could be the case. And this is our better text box. I forgot to expand it. And let's maybe disable wrapping and make it a little bit nicer. So text style font, let's do 20. Font family, just Roboto. And the background will set to 0.1. Yeah, this is much nicer. Now let's see. Yeah. And that input was for the iBooks, not for better text box. So let's add one event here. And working just as expected. Second line, third line. Yeah, one, I guess, maybe caveat, maybe not entirely, is that when you write something, then it's split to lines. So this is third line, line 2, line 1, line 0, of course, and the offset is from that line. So if you have like fourth line, this is line 3, and hello, it's gonna just count characters from that line. So when you make your scripts, when you need to, count the characters, you need to count from, every line. But on the other hand, if you count characters, then you don't use this. If you want to count the characters, then you just can do get text, that to string probably, and you would do characters. Get character array from string. And this length is how many characters you have. So yeah, this is a little video for you. Maybe not that little. We kinda had some little issues because I didn't do it in that project. I did it in the second project where everything was working, of course. And yeah, I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed, and hopefully see you in the next video. See ya. Bye bye.